Hello everyone, I'm Ina Man. Welcome to Higher Ground, the only show dedicated to finding common ground in the contentious debate over BC's natural resources. We're pretty excited here on Higher Ground this week as we get to share with you the findings from a special series of community outreach meetings we first told you about last month. In 8 Lower Mainland cities, ResourceWorks held community breakfast meetings designed to bring together participants with diverse values and perspectives to discuss the debate over BC's natural resources. We invited municipal leaders and candidates in the 2014 BC municipal elections, industry representatives, union representatives, members of environmental organizations, and unaffiliated citizens. It was a huge success. Well over 100 people attended the 2-hour events, sharing their values and opinions in small roundtable discussions, all in the effort to help answer these 2 questions. What does responsible resource development mean to you? And how do you build constructive, meaningful dialogue on natural resources in your community? We just released the findings in our new report titled Community Conversations on Natural Resources, using open dialogue to finding common ground. You can check out the full report on our website at resourceworks.com, and of course, we're talking about the results here today on Higher Ground. Joining us today in studio is Peter Severinson, Research Director for ResourceWorks. Peter, congrats on another big research report out.
Yes, we are very excited about this one. It is the result of a great big long process.
So Peter, please share with us some of the findings in your report from the meetings. Were you able to define responsible resource development?
Well, what it means is what we went to these discussions to find out. We want to know what that means to other British Columbians, and we came up with these 4 main themes. It means that the communities that are affected by resource development, they're part of that process and they benefit from it. It means that there is a balance of the environment and the economy. Both are valued and both have been considered. It means that there's a process that can be trusted, that you know, things are being taken care of by the people who are in charge. And it also means that it is an industry that grows and advances. There's innovation, there's technological development, and people are really pushing the bounds to do things better and better and better.
Peter, what did participants mean by a process that could be trusted?
So the process that they're looking at is a couple of different things. It is the consultation process for when the public is consulted about the kinds of resource development that's going to happen. It's also about the resource regulations, things like environmental regulations, standards, those kinds of things, to make sure that those things are sound rules and that they are obeyed. And it's also about things like openness and transparency so that people have access to information, that they feel they can trust the people who are in charge of these big projects.
So there is a significant trust gap.
Yeah, regulators, government, environmentalists, and industry. There really was nobody who got really great marks in terms of trustworthiness and reliability, unfortunately.
Wow! What about the economy versus environment argument? Is there a big divide?
It actually isn't as big a divide as you might think. Now, we had a lot of people when they were describing responsible resource development who emphasized environment, and a lot of people who emphasized economy. And most of the time, the same person said both things. So the idea that there's this either-or argument about you either for the environment or either for the economy just doesn't ring true based on what we saw in these conversations. People really value both, and they want them to be balanced. Peter,
you mentioned the consultation process. How do First Nations factor into that?
First Nations were a major part of these conversations. They were brought up over and over again in terms of it's very important that we consider the values of First Nations and that they play a meaningful part in the processes involved in resource development. This was quite widely expressed by a lot of different participants, and it wasn't really explained. This was treated very much as a given.
Peter, the meetings and report addressed how to build a constructive, meaningful dialogue around the debate. What did you find out?
Well, a good way to sum it up is that bringing people to the table is who is a part of that conversation. Who do you bring in and who do you listen to? Good information is about what kind of information is in that discussion. How are we talking about these things? Real talk and real listening, we're talking about what is the behavior of the people in that conversation. How do they act? How do they treat each other? How do they think and how do they participate? And then the last one is, what happens after this discussion? Does it actually result in any real decisions? So it really covers 4 real important components of a good, productive public dialogue.
And one of those was a discussion based on facts.
That discussion based on facts is what turned out to be really prominent. We heard a lot of people who expressed some concerns about the amount of misinformation they perceived in the conversations about natural resource issues. Either facts that they don't trust, whether it's people with hidden motives behind it, or information that they feel is sort of biased and misleading. We had a lot of people who articulated a desire for a really good assessment of risks and benefits that's done in a straightforward manner, that's based on facts and not on people's sort of preconceived positions.
And that's it for Higher Ground this week. Before we go, we want to congratulate our very own Stuart Muir, Executive Director here at ResourceWorks. Stuart is a co-author of the highly successful The Sea Among Us, the first book to present a comprehensive study of the Strait of Georgia in its entire splendor. You can check it out online at harborpublishing.com. And don't forget to visit our website at resourceworks.com, sign up for our e-newsletter, and don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. For ResourceWorks, I'm Mina Mann. Thanks for watching.